Hello everybody and welcome back here at High Value. I have received a question on my Instagram account, and that's why today I'm going to talk about how to deal with anxiety and constant nervousness. And I want to give you my number 3 tips that will help you deal with anxiety and nervousness in the short and in the long term. So we're going to talk about what you can do in the moment to help you relax and calm yourself down, and then also what to do in the long run so you're not recreating this pattern over and over again. So first, I want to give a quick explanation on why you're experiencing this constant nervousness. And to me, it sounds like you are probably, if you're experiencing constant nervousness, your brain is constantly feeling, or you are constantly feeling threatened by something, and your brain is in constant fight or flight mode. So your body is just having this inner reaction because you feel threatened. And that can happen when we have maybe had a traumatic experience that we haven't fully released, and also when maybe in your past, you have been in a situation that was stressful and you felt like you couldn't cope with it, or there was no one there to be there for you, maybe as a child, and then you have integrated that feeling of threat and not being able to get out of it. This is how it sounds to me. It sounds a little bit like a situation in where you're a little helpless if it's constantly coming up. So let's start with tip number 1. So what you can do in the very moment when you're noticing that you're anxious again and that you are nervous, first off, it's great when you are already noticing it. You want to really become aware of that reaction and then ground yourself in your body. So tip number 1 really is to ground yourself in your body after becoming aware of anxiety and nervousness within yourself. And you can do it as follows. So first, you notice and you tell yourself, okay, right, I'm anxious again right now. I'm nervous. And then you just start to feel into yourself, feel into what's going on within your body. And this step is so important and foundational also for how to shift nervousness and anxiety in the long run. So really take your time to take a minute, take 2 or 3 minutes to just feel what's going on for you. And you just feel within yourself, you feel your heartbeat maybe there are some sensations in your body, you notice your breathing pattern. And then after you have noticed what's going on within you, maybe you want to also notice your thoughts. Then you just simply start to shift your attention even more towards your body, so out of your mind into your body. And you can do that by taking deep breath, and I'm going to show you how I would do it. So I would do it as follows. I would inhale deeply and then I would fully release. Normally I also put my hand on my heart and maybe one on my belly. This feels very grounding to me. And then so like this is on my belly and on my heart, so I feel that I'm really here with myself. And then I just take deep breath. And you can take maybe 3 deep breaths, maybe 5, whatever feels right for you. And then I will just keep on noticing my emotions and tell myself that I'm present with myself, and keep on feeling into my body, keep on feeling my heartbeat physically, feeling into my stomach, feeling into my entire body depending on what's going on. So to tip number 1, there are really 2 elements, and there's this element of awareness where you're just noticing what's going on within your body and within your mind. And then the second element is really on connecting to your breath and connecting to your heart and connecting to your body very consciously, by not just being aware, but by focusing your attention on your heart and really listening to your heartbeat. And you can do that on a very intuitive level. So sometimes you're going to benefit more from being aware and noticing, from being aware and just noticing what's going on for you. And sometimes you might be benefiting more from putting your attention maybe on your heartbeat or maybe on your breath. And I want you to just experiment with that to find out what works best for you. I tend to benefit more from just being aware in moments where I'm really in a really stressed state and when I'm really anxious and really nervous or even panicked. Then I benefit a lot from just being really aware and just being there. And in other moments, I benefit more from breathing consciously and listening to my heart, putting my hand on my heart and just being aware of my heartbeat. And you can figure out which combination of those works best for you. But what the main point on this tip number 1 is really that you start connecting with your body and get out of your mind. And sometimes it can be very difficult, and in those moments I advise you to just be aware of what's going on. Even if you can't get out of your mind, that's okay. Then just be aware that you're in your mind. So awareness and connection with your body is really important. The second tip is let's say the next step that you can take in the process, and that's the step where you are reparenting yourself. So when you're connected with your body or just being aware of your mind and of your bodily reactions or bodily sensations, what you want to do is like consciously be there for yourself. So you're not just noticing what's going on for you, you're not just connected with your body, but you're also starting to reparent yourself in the sense that you're noticing that there's a part of you that is afraid, and you start to show up for this part. So you start to be the parent for your inner child. Chances are that if you're afraid, it's that your inner child is afraid, an inner part of you that feels small and helpless is afraid, and you start to embody the energy of love, curiosity, of presence for yourself. So you are bringing that energy in. And this is a step where you're more than just aware. You're bringing in that love, you're bringing in that presence, you're bringing in that conscious awareness and that parent that you might have been needing in the past, but you didn't get the presence that you need to. So you show up as a parent for yourself. You tell yourself, I'm here with you, I love you, there's no reason to be afraid. I'm gonna be there for you as long as you need me. And you really bring in that unconditional presence, that patience, that aspect of being there with your inner child as long as it needs you to be there. So you're not running away from the emotion, you're feeling it, but at the same time you're not afraid of it anymore because you're bringing in that element of love and of presence and of knowing that like you don't have to push it away. You're fully accepting it, you're fully being present with yourself, and you start to really be that parent to yourself. So that was tip number 1. And tip number 3, now we're going to go even more into creating a new self-concept. So whereas in tip number 2 we have of anxiety to show up as the parent, tip number 3 is something that you can always do. So you don't have to do it necessarily in the moment when you're anxious, but maybe you want to actually do it when you're not anxious and you are starting to prepare for this moment of anxiety, in a sense that you're starting to affirm to yourself a new self-concept that you are not anxious or you are calm. So let me explain this. When you are having patterns of constant anxiety showing up, it means that you are having in your subconscious mind the inner self-concept and the emotional memory and patterns that you are often anxious, that anxiety is something that happens often, there's a threat and you're not safe. So instead of always keeping on reparent yourself, which is great to do, yeah, it's great and it's going to help you heal and it's going to help you be calm. But what we also want to do is we want to start to affirm the new self-concept of us already being safe, already being calm, already being in a safe space, being confident, being healthy, being stable and balanced. So when you're doing that and you're practicing that energy of calmness and feeling relaxed and feeling safe in the long run, you are going to experience that you're not going to be anxious anymore. Or let me rephrase that. You're not going to be anxious that often. Anxiety is a completely natural emotion, so there's no need to try and get rid of it forever. But if it's a really reoccurring pattern all the time and it's all the time with you, then it's not just an emotion, it's more like a pattern. So in that case, you really want to make sure to get your subconscious mind reprogrammed and start to affirm, as I already said, that you're calm, confident, relaxed, balanced, and start to feel into that version of yourself. So tip number 3 is all about creating that calm version of yourself, that version of yourself, and you can probably feel it in my energy as I'm talking about it, that version that is present, relaxed, there's no threat, you're happy in your life, you're confident, you're healthy, and you just start to practice that energy more often. And as you're practicing that energy, what happens to you is that number 1, you get used to this energy, and number 2, you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. You're reprogramming the way you feel, and by thinking different thoughts, you're reprogramming your mind and your thoughts, your beliefs. And you can do that in many different ways. And one way is by simply reaffirming to yourself, I'm safe, I'm confident, I'm happy, I am loved, I am in a safe space, I'm balanced, I'm healthy. And you start to create this inner narrative of this person that is already calm, where anxiety doesn't play so much of a role. You start to affirm that reality, you start to envision it, you start to envision yourself as this version, and you're going to see that over time you're going to shift away from this self-concept where you're feeling anxious to this new self-concept or self-image where you're feeling calm. Alright, so these are my 3 tips. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I am going to also link you my 8-hour affirmation recording that is going to help you reprogram your subconscious mind for abundance. So if you are feeling anxious a lot of the times, then you might want to check this out. I'm explaining there exactly how it works and how you can reprogram your subconscious mind. And of course, this topic can be discussed in more depth, so I'd be happy to receive more of your questions here so I can talk about your specific needs that you have in this process and your specific questions. But for now, these are my 3 tips. I hope they are helpful to you and they help you come into a more calm and relaxed state. And last but not least, I'm going to record a meditation for you. I'm going to link it here as well. It will help you feel calm and release anxiety. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the next video.